friends, Shayla here. I'm here to talk to you about how I rate romance novels. So in the year of 2019, I wanted to get a little more secure in how I rate romance novels. Before, I'd been rating it purely on my enjoyment level, and that will still play a huge part in what I'm doing in my rating. But there's a couple other factors I want to factor in to give my star rating, and I wanted to talk to you guys about that today. So, when it comes to romance novels, generally they are not going to be top tier writing. So I don't expect them to be top tier writing. That is not a part of this equation at all. But the writing will play a little bit of a part in my rating. So I am going to have a scale of like 1 to 5 of like how I felt about the writing in general. If it was super choppy or if it did some things that I really didn't agree with, then it's going to like be knocked down on that scale, if that makes sense. Because an example of this is I recently read a Highlander story. I loved the story at its core, but there were some things done in the writing that almost like turned me off to the story. So it did affect my star rating of this book, and I ended up giving it a lower star rating because of this experience. Essentially, it was a Highlander novel, and they made the dialect almost too hard to read. So that was my biggest gripe about that story in and of itself. But because it has a trope that I seriously love, like I don't hate the story. It's just that the writing was a little less accessible, and that made it harder to read. The other scale I'm going to add into this equation is what I call crassy or classy. I know, it sounds weird, but it's what I'm doing. So when the smut goes down, when I get to those smutty bits, depending on how it's written will determine this scale. Because some of the smut out there is just really crass, lots of F words, like that's all that they're talking about. And others, it's like this beautiful, sensual, easy, classy thing to read. So that's going to be on that scale to help me determine my star ratings for romance novels. And then the other is going to be my enjoyment level, because I have to put that into the equation because I really enjoy reading smutty romance novels, but if I don't enjoy reading it, I think my star rating should show it. So that's kind of how I'm going to be rating my smuts from now on. I wanted you guys to be aware of this so that if you saw me give some lower ratings than I did the previous year, that's because I am reading them slightly more critically this year than I have previously. Because before it was just kind of getting my feet wet, exploring it again, kind of getting back into the flow of the smuts. And there are obviously series that I enjoy the writing much better, and some books in those series don't hold up as well as others. So I want that to truly be reflected as I'm rating romance novels this upcoming year. This is something that I've been toying with for a while, and I've kind of low-key been doing anyway, but now I just wanted you guys to know that I will probably break down each of these three points. Accessibility of writing, crassy or classy, and my enjoyment level. I will probably break down each one of those to determine my star rating for you as I do wrap-ups and stuff in future. So I didn't want you guys to necessarily be confused or not fully understand where I'm coming from with them. And as I mentioned the crassy or classy, I'll also mention like on a scale of 1 to 10, like 1 being like barely any and 10 being every other page, how much smut to find in the book. Because there are some where they do it like rabbits and others where you only get one real good smutty bit. And so that's also going to be something that I mention at least as I'm reviewing or wrapping up these books, just so that you can be aware kind of what you're walking into. So I hope this video was helpful for you guys. I know it was helpful for me to organize all my thoughts to tell you so that I'm solid on my feelings on it. So thanks again for watching this video. I will see you guys in the next one.